This is the news hour on MYBA TV. I am Omogwemi Adedeji. First, the headlines. Ex-APC spokesman urges US to suspend intelligence sharing with Nigeria over Gumi's remarks. Federal government approves employment of 50 doctors, 100 nurses across correctional centers. Dangote now supplies 92% of petrol as federal government pauses imports. Lagos Assembly recommends relocating Makoko residents to Epe.
Do you want to turn heads? Do you want people to stop and pay attention? In today's world, attention is a new currency, and that's exactly what MYBA LED help you get. Whether you're planning a crusade, concert, any type of event, our high-quality LED screen will help you capture your audience's full attention effortlessly. At MYBA LED Company Limited, we manufacture and sell high-quality LED screen. We rent out screen for all types of events, and we also cover full event coverage and live streaming services where all the whole world can tune in. So tell a friend to tell a friend. When it's time to shine, it's time for MYBA LED. Thank you.
Now the news in details. Ex-APC spokesman urges US to suspend intelligence sharing with Nigeria over Gumi's remarks. Former Deputy National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Timi Frank, has called on the U.S. government to suspend intelligence sharing and security cooperation with Nigeria following recent remarks attributed to Islamic cleric Ahmad Gumi on banditry and terrorism. Frank made the call in a statement on Tuesday while reacting to the comments credited to Gumi's suggesting that Nigerian authorities may know the identities and locations of bandits, raise important questions about the country's security situation. In an interview with DRTV, Gumi stated that dialogue could play a role in addressing the violence in the north, adding that his engagements with bandit groups are not carried out alone but involve security agencies. However, Frank said Nigerians deserve an explanation if authorities indeed know the identities and locations of bandits operating in parts of the country. He noted that the persistence of kidnappings and killings across parts of the country has continued to generate public concern about insecurity. The former APC chieftain also urged the United States to exercise caution in its security cooperation with the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, particularly in the area of intelligence sharing. Frank called on the United States government to be very careful in its dealings with the current Nigerian administration. The U.S. should suspend intelligence sharing and security cooperation with the Nigerian government and its security chiefs. Frank added that despite international support received by Nigeria in the fight against insurgency and banditry, Nigerian soldiers continue to face significant risks in ongoing security operations. He said, Nigerian soldiers are dying in large numbers despite the equipment and support provided by the United States and other countries. With the level of support Nigeria has received, the war against insecurity should have made significant progress. He also called on the U.S. Congress to pay closer attention to developments in Nigeria, particularly in the relation to security and democratic governance. In other news, federal government approved employment of 50 doctors, 100 nurses across correctional centers. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubumi Tunji Ojo, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the employment of 50 medical doctors and 100 nurses across the nation's correctional centers, hospitals. Tunji Ojo disclosed this on Tuesday when the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. The minister said the president's approval followed the death of medical personnel in some correctional centers. According to him, the equipment in some correctional centers, such as Kuje, can perform major surgeries. The minister said that the federal government had been training inmates via train-the-trainer programs. Tunji Ojo underscored the need for the Ministry of Information and National Reorientation to showcase and communicate the achievements recorded by the Ministry of Interior to the Nigerian public. Now, in another news, Dangote now supplies 92% of petrol as FG pauses imports. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery accounted for about 92% of Nigeria's daily petrol supply in February, as the federal government has paused the importation of petrol. This came as filling stations on Tuesday returned petrol prices at above 1,200 naira per litre, despite a 100 naira reduction in the gantry price by the Dangote refinery. Multiple sources at the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and among major fuel importing companies confirmed that no license had been issued for the fuel imports this year. According to the sources at the NMDPRA, the country does not need to import petrol now, as local refining can meet the country's daily fuel needs. Figures released in the February 2026 fact sheet by NMDPRA show that local refineries supplied 36.5 million liters per day of petrol in February 2026, while imports contributed just 3 million liters per day. This brought the total national daily supply for February to 39.5 million liters, with domestic refining accounting for roughly 92% of the volume. A sharp shift from the long-standing independence on imported fuel. The data indicates a drastic drop in imports compared with the previous month. Currently, the Dangote refinery is the only plant that produces petrol, as other modular refineries basically refine crude for the production of automotive gas oil diesel. And in the final news, we have Lagos Assembly recommends relocating Makoko residents to Epe. The Lagos State House of Assembly has recommended that residents affected by the demolition of waterfront communities in Makoko, Oko, Agbo, and Shogoro be relocated to Agbowa area of Epe in Lagos State. Public Affairs Directorate indicated that the recommendation followed the adoption of a report by the House Committee on Rules and Business during the plenary on Tuesday. According to the statement, the resolution followed a petition addressed to the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, titled Urgent Appeal Regarding Ongoing Mass Forced Eviction and Illegal Demolition Threatening Tens of thousands in Makoko, Okwagmo, and Shogoro communities. Presenting the report during plenary at the Committee of the Whole, the chairman of the Committee on Rules and Business, Honorable Nohim Adams, explained that the committee arrived at its conclusions after engaging the petitioners in 5 separate meetings and conducting an oversight visit with relevant government officials, agencies, and representatives of the affected communities. The statement reads, it noted that the demolition of exercise carried out by the state government displaced many residents, including the elderly, women, and children, while homes and properties were destroyed. According to the committee, the affected waterfront communities depend largely on fishing as their primary source of livelihood and have historically lived on the water because of the nature of their occupation. The committee also observed that living conditions in Makoko and the surrounding areas deteriorated significantly after demolition. leading the environmental and health concerns as well as heightened safety risk. Based on its findings, the lawmakers recommended that the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, direct the special advisor on EGRS to vet enumeration reports submitted by the Makoko, Shoguro, and Okuagbo communities. The committee further recommended that the government relocates the remaining residents of Makoko, Shoguro, and Okuagbo to a proposed low-cost housing estate to be constructed in Agbowa area of the state, where they can continue their fishing activities. This is the end of the news hour on MYBA TV. Thank you for joining us, and we come your way again tomorrow. I am Omogbeimi Adidiji. Kindly do well by joining us on all our social media platforms at MYBA TV. Bye for now.
MYBA TV, bridging the gaps.